Hello and welcome back to the Victory Education Lounge. I'm your host Maurice, and today we're diving into part 12 of our Malaria series, where we'll discuss the fascinating topic of chloroquine and its derivatives, history and current use. Chloroquine was once the go-to treatment for malaria, but over the years, things have changed. Today, we'll explore the history of chloroquine, how it works, its derivatives, and where it fits in modern malaria treatment. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with all our upcoming content. And as always, feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Have you or someone you know used chloroquine or its derivatives? Let's get the conversation started. Ever wondered how the fight against malaria began? The answer takes us back to the 1930s and the discovery of a remarkable drug, chloroquine. This compound, part of the quinoline family, emerged as a beacon of hope in a world where malaria was a major health crisis. The 1930s marked the beginning of a new era in the fight against malaria. Scientists were on a quest to find a solution to this deadly disease, and it was during this period that chloroquine was discovered. This new drug showed promising results in the laboratory, leading to its rapid adoption in medical circles. By the 1940s, chloroquine had become the standard treatment for malaria across much of the globe. Its effectiveness, combined with its affordability and ease of administration, made it an ideal solution in the battle against this debilitating disease. It was a game-changer, significantly reducing malaria-related deaths and improving the quality of life for countless individuals. The post-World War II era saw chloroquine playing a pivotal role in global malaria eradication efforts. In countries like India and sub-Saharan Africa, where malaria was rampant, the drug was a lifesaver. Mass distribution campaigns were launched, and chloroquine quickly became the most widely used anti-malarial drug worldwide. But what made chloroquine so effective? The secret lies in its mode of action. Chloroquine targets the malaria parasite during its blood stage, disrupting its ability to break down hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells. This crucial disruption causes toxic byproducts to accumulate, which eventually kills the parasite. Chloroquine, a member of the quinoline family, was once hailed as a miracle drug. Its discovery marked a significant milestone in the ongoing battle against malaria. However, as we'll discover in our next segment, the malaria parasite is a formidable adversary, and over time, it began to fight back. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's revel in the brilliance of this groundbreaking discovery and its initial success in the war against malaria. So what made chloroquine so effective? Well, to understand that, we need to take a closer look at how this drug functions at a molecular level. Chloroquine targets the malaria parasite during its most vulnerable stage, which is when it's inside our red blood cells. You see, the malaria parasite is a bit like a vampire. It feeds on hemoglobin, the protein that makes our blood red and carries oxygen around our bodies. When the parasite invades a red blood cell, it starts breaking down hemoglobin to use as a source of nourishment. But chloroquine throws a wrench in the works. It interferes with this process, disrupting the parasite's dinner plans, if you will. Chloroquine changes the acidity in the parasite's digestive system, preventing it from breaking down the hemoglobin. This causes toxic byproducts to accumulate, which eventually kills the parasite. It's a bit like filling a vampire's home with garlic. The vampire can't stand it, and eventually it dies. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of chloroquine. On the upside, chloroquine is inexpensive and easy to administer. For many years it was highly effective against malaria, particularly Plasmodium falciparum, the most deadly type of malaria parasite. This made chloroquine a crucial weapon in our fight against malaria. But there's a downside too. You see, parasites, much like any other living thing, evolve over time to survive. And over the years, the malaria parasite has done just that. It has developed resistance to chloroquine, a bit like a vampire developing a taste for garlic. This resistance has significantly limited chloroquine's effectiveness. Today, chloroquine is no longer effective against Plasmodium falciparum in many parts of the world. In conclusion, while chloroquine was once a powerful tool in our arsenal against malaria, it's no longer the magic bullet it once was. However, over time, the malaria parasite began to develop resistance to chloroquine, significantly limiting its use. Resistance to chloroquine emerged as a major challenge. This line marks the beginning of a significant shift in the history of malaria treatment. In the early days of chloroquine use, it was highly effective against the malaria parasite, Plasmodium falciparum. However, over time, the parasite began to adapt. It developed the ability to pump chloroquine out of its system before the drug could take effect, a classic case of survival of the fittest. This resistance first began to emerge in the late 1950s on the Cambodia-Thailand border and soon spread across Southeast Asia and South America. By the 1980s, the problem had become so widespread that chloroquine was largely ineffective against Plasmodium falciparum in many parts of the world. Let's take sub-Saharan Africa as an example. This region was hit particularly hard by chloroquine resistance. In the 1970s and 80s, the efficacy of chloroquine began to decline rapidly. By the late 1980s, it was clear that the era of chloroquine as a universal treatment for malaria was coming to an end. The once miracle drug was now powerless against the very disease it was designed to treat. To combat this growing problem, countries began to shift towards newer, more effective drugs. Artemisinin-based combination therapies, or ACTs, became the new standard of care. These therapies combine an artemisinin derivative, which is fast-acting but has a short half-life, with a partner drug that kills any remaining parasites. The rise of chloroquine resistance was a stark reminder of the adaptability of nature. It taught us that relying on a single drug to combat a complex and evolving disease like malaria is a risky strategy. We need to continuously innovate, develop new treatments, and implement comprehensive disease control measures to stay one step ahead of the parasite. The rise in resistance forced a shift in malaria treatment strategies. In the next scene, we will discuss the derivatives of chloroquine and their current use in medicine. Stay tuned. While chloroquine's use declined, its derivatives found new applications. One such derivative that has made a significant impact is hydroxychloroquine. This drug, originally developed as a less toxic alternative to chloroquine, has been used for decades in managing autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. Let's take a closer look at hydroxychloroquine. It shares many of the same properties as chloroquine, but with a better tolerance profile, especially for long-term use. This makes it an ideal choice for conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, where treatment often spans years if not a lifetime. In these autoimmune conditions, the body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own tissues, causing inflammation and damage. Hydroxychloroquine works by reducing this inflammation. It does so by taming the overactive immune response without suppressing it entirely, thus managing the symptoms without leaving the body vulnerable to infections. Now, you might have heard about hydroxychloroquine in recent news, in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. It gained attention as a potential treatment for the virus. However, this application remains controversial. While some early studies suggested potential benefits, later, larger-scale research failed to confirm these findings. It's important to note that the use of hydroxychloroquine for COVID-19 is currently not widely accepted or recommended by global health authorities. Returning to its role in autoimmune diseases, it's worth noting that while hydroxychloroquine is not a cure, it can significantly improve quality of life for those living with conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. It helps to reduce symptoms such as joint pain, swelling, rashes, and fatigue, enabling people to lead more active and fulfilling lives. In conclusion, while the use of chloroquine in treating malaria has largely been phased out due to resistance, its derivatives, like hydroxychloroquine, have found valuable roles in other areas of medicine. These drugs illustrate the dynamic nature of medical research and how a single compound can have diverse applications over time. Hydroxychloroquine, a less toxic alternative to chloroquine, has found its niche in the treatment of autoimmune diseases. It's a testament to the enduring value of scientific discovery and the ever-evolving landscape of medical treatment. Let's delve into how hydroxychloroquine helps in managing autoimmune diseases. Hydroxychloroquine, a derivative of chloroquine, has been a game-changer in the world of autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. Autoimmune diseases occur when your body's immune system mistakenly attacks your own cells. In rheumatoid arthritis, this attack is directed at the joints, causing inflammation and pain. Lupus, on the other hand, can affect many different body systems, including joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and lungs. So, how does hydroxychloroquine come into play? The drug works by reducing the activity of the immune system. This action prevents the immune system from causing unnecessary inflammation and damage to the body's own tissues. In the context of rheumatoid arthritis, hydroxychloroquine has been found to reduce symptoms of pain and swelling. Importantly, the drug doesn't just alleviate symptoms but also slows the progression of the disease, preventing joint damage and preserving function. When it comes to lupus, hydroxychloroquine has been a mainstay of treatment. It helps control the unpredictable and potentially life-threatening flare-ups of disease activity, reducing symptoms like rashes, fatigue, joint pain, and mouth ulcers. It also has a role in preventing organ damage, a major concern in lupus patients. Hydroxychloroquine is typically well tolerated, making it suitable for long-term use. However, it's not devoid of side effects. Some people might experience stomach upset, skin rashes, or changes in skin color. In rare cases, it can affect the eyes, which is why regular eye exams are recommended for those taking the drug. In conclusion, hydroxychloroquine, a descendant of the once revered anti-malarial drug chloroquine, has found its niche in the management of autoimmune diseases. It's an example of how a drug initially developed for one purpose can end up having far-reaching impacts in areas of medicine that were never initially envisioned. While the journey of chloroquine and its derivatives has been intriguing, the search for effective malaria treatments continues. Before we wrap up, I want to thank you for joining me today in the Victory Education Lounge. If you're passionate about making a difference, I invite you to support the fight against malaria by visiting United to Beat Malaria. You'll find the link in the description below. Together, we can help save lives and create a healthier world. Every contribution, no matter how small, brings us one step closer to a world free from malaria. Remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Together, we can unveil the truths about malaria and join the battle to end this global menace. Disclaimer: the information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Any health-related decision should be discussed with a licensed physician. Always seek the advice of your doctor or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.